My name is Gwen Jameer, and I'm the CEO and founder of Naturalicious. We're an award-winning natural beauty brand found in over 1,200 retailers all around the world, including Whole Foods, Ulta, and Sally Beauty. I started my company in 2013 when I was fresh out of a divorce, very abusive divorce, might I add, and I had just lost my job. And a lot of people ask me, well, how did Naturalicious even start? And how did you start it with just $32 in the bank and go on to become the first African-American woman to own a patent on a natural hair care product and make history? And so I thought I'd share that story with you today. So back in, let's say 2011 time, somewhere around there, 2010, 2011, I was pregnant. Well, 2010, I was pregnant with my son. His name is Caden, and he is awesome. If you've ever ordered from us, you've gotten candy in your order, and he is the one who includes that candy. He is now our chief candy curator. But back then, I was pregnant with him, and I had just seen this movie that Chris Rock had produced called Good Hair. And in that movie, Chris and a cosmetic chemist, they take a soda can and they submerge this soda can into a vat of hair relaxer. And the hair relaxer disintegrates the can in minutes. Mind you, I am freaking out. I'm pregnant, I'm emotional, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, if this does this to a can, an aluminum can, what's it gonna do to the flesh of my child? Because I know that anything you put onto your skin has the ability to go inside your body and affects what's happening inside of you. And so I was thinking about my baby at the time. Never had crossed my mind to go natural. Never had crossed my mind to even think about wearing my own natural texture. But in that moment, I decided that I was going to make sure that my baby was safe. I wouldn't even think about me. I was thinking about him. And so I decided to go natural. The problem was that I was in my late 20s at this point, and I had never remembered how my hair actually looked. I had been relaxing my hair since I was in the 3rd grade. And what are you, 9 years old in the 3rd grade? So for like, anywhere from 18 to 20 years at this point in the story, I had been wearing my hair natural. So I had no clue what to do with my hair. And so I found myself in a similar spot as a lot of people when they first decide to go natural. What do I do with my hair? So you got to think back. I know this sounds foreign now, but back then we didn't have aisles and aisles of hair products targeted and made for Black hair at the stores. You had to either go to Brooklyn to get, Carol's Daughter, or you had to, find somewhere in the hood to try and find maybe like a flea market or maybe like a little like open air market or something that may have had like some other like homemade brand. There weren't a lot of brands for us that were widely popular and widely available. So since I didn't have the time or the money at the time to go to Brooklyn and get some of that product, and I couldn't find the products near me, I decided that I was going to make it myself. So I decided, in my infinite wisdom, and I use that very loosely here, I decided to go to the store and see if I could find natural products. So I go to like a Whole Foods store and I find some products that are natural and organic, and I get it home and I use it on my hair, and it is natural and organic, but my hair looks a mess. Not good at all. Horrible. So I'm like, this ain't gonna work. So I call my mom. My mom is a master herbalist. And I called my mom. I said, Mommy, what can I put on my hair with some of the other things I have at home, like olive oil and, shea butter and cocoa butter? What can I put with that in order to like make my hair really do what I want it to do? And she gave me a number of suggestions. And she didn't give me the suggestion that I actually ended up using, but it led me down a rabbit hole that took me to a product or ingredient called Rasul clay. I started getting really, really curious about Rasul clay. No one really used it widely commercially. It wasn't very popular, unlike other clays like bentonite clay. And I was like, this clay sounds awesome. Why is no one using it? So you can only find it in Morocco. It's only in this very mountainous area of Morocco called the Atlas Mountains. So I send off for it. It takes forever to come because it's in Morocco and I'm in America. It takes forever to come, and finally it shows up at my door, and I mix it with some of the other things that I have, like, olive oil, like I said, shea butter, cocoa butter, all these different things that I had, glycerin at my house. And for the first time in my life, it felt to me like the gates of heaven had literally opened. It was like, finally, I had something that made my hair look and feel incredible. Now, I had never loved my hair. I was never that girl that grew up where everybody wanted to put their hands in her hair and braid it at recess. Like, I was never that girl. My hair was whack. So whack growing up. It was not great at all. And I literally hated my hair. And so in that moment where I used this product that I had created in my kitchen, for me, I realized in that moment how much our confidence is tied to our hair. How very important it is for our hair when it comes to our self-esteem, how we show up for the world every day, what we tolerate from people. All of that is wrapped into our hair, especially as women of color. We have so much history and good and bad things that have occurred to us because of our hair. And I just realized in that moment that this was such an important piece of how I viewed myself as a woman. And so it was never designed to become a business. Naturalicious was not even supposed to be a company. It was supposed to be just for me. So I created this little, concoction of product, and I was using it on my hair, and I was shampooing it, and it didn't sud up, which was brand new for me because I had never experienced washing my hair with something that didn't sud. So I was learning all these great things, and I was getting very, very accustomed to the fact that Rasul clay that was in my product that I had invented had silica and magnesium and calcium and potassium and all these great minerals and nutrients that my hair was never getting from anywhere else ever. Even if I took some vitamins, it wasn't getting as much as I was potentially putting in it with the product that I was using. And it was just supposed to be for me. Lo and behold, my sister comes over, my cousins, my friends, and they're like, girl, what are you using in your hair? Your hair looks so good. And so I told them, like, oh, I got this little product that I created for myself. And they asked if they could have some. Of course, I gave them some. So I bottle it up and I give it to them. Next thing I know, they're going to work, they're going to church, they're going to wherever they're going, and people are asking them what they're using in their hair. And they're telling them, oh, my sister, my cousin, my friend, whatever, she has a product, a hair product. And so they wanted to know, these new people who, at this point, I did not know these other people, they wanted to know where they could buy the product. So now I've got like a little business going on. I didn't even realize it. Meanwhile, I'm still working at my cushy 6-figure job. I'm married. I'm now a mother to my son, and everything's great. So it's still not a business. I'm just basically charging people to cover my costs of the product. So fast forward about 18 months. And I found my marriage becoming very abusive. It was already verbally and mentally abusive and emotionally abusive. It was starting to become quite physically abusive. And I just remember I did not want my son to grow up thinking that kind of thing was normal, that that's what love looked like. Because I'm very aware that love is a verb. And I didn't grow up in a household like that. I grew up in a 2-parent household, very loving family. And so this was a foreign concept to me. And it took a lot for me to remove myself from that relationship because I wanted it to work so bad. But I also realized that I had to choose me and I had to choose my son. So I remember the day that my ex-husband choked me, was the day that I left that relationship. And I said, you know what, I've tried this. I've tried to make this work. And I deserve more. My child deserves more than to see this. Now, luckily for me, my son he wasn't even 2 years old. So he doesn't remember any of this happening. But I do recall very vividly that I told myself, Gwen, you have got to get out of this marriage now because you don't want him to grow up remembering this or knowing any of this happened. Now, of course, he's a little bit older now and we have conversations about it. And I think it's important for him to know the truth. And we talk about it within reason. But when he asks questions. But I did not want that to be stuck in his memory bank, because I realized one day he was going to get married or he was going to have a girlfriend or be in some sort of relationship. And I didn't want him to think that this was okay. Even though consciously he would know it was wrong, subconsciously, that would have been all that he knew. And so it's very important to me, as much as we talk to our girls about accepting, making sure that the men or the relationship that they're in is respectful and that they treat them well. It's very, very important as well for us to teach our boys. So that was very important to me. So I left that marriage, but at the same time, I got laid off from my job. Remember my 6-figure job I talked about? That was gone. So I got laid off from that 30 days before my divorce was final. So here I am, single mother, just got out of an abusive relationship. So I'm dealing with the emotional scars of that and the physical scars. Now I'm being a single mother. I have no money. My whole family lives out of town. And I've got all the same bills I had before, but I got way less of the money to make it happen. And I thought to myself, well, you know what? Just to be honest, I need to find a way to make money legally and morally. I'm not going to go sell drugs or something like that. And I'm also not going to go hop on a pole. So what can I do to turn something turn nothing into something? And the only thing I could think of in the moment was that I had this really cool hobby that I loved. And I loved how it made women's faces light up when they saw how beautiful their hair could be, possibly for the first time, just like that whole euphoric epiphany that I had that I mentioned earlier. And I said, you know what? I'm going to turn this, I'm going to start a business. This is going to be a business. It's going to have to be a business, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to follow my passion. Here's the thing. I had actually been praying prior to any of the abuse or the physical abuse or the layoff happening. I had been praying actually to God to send me a very clear and convincing sign as to when I should leave my job, because I was finding that I wasn't passionate about it anymore. I loved making hair products. I loved not just the hair products. It really wasn't even about the hair products. It was more about how it made the women feel, how they stood up a little bit taller, how their sway was a little bit more swaggy after they saw themselves, possibly for the first time in 10, 20, 30, 40 years, as this gorgeous, beautiful being, just because they had used a product that was made for their hair and helped their hair perform in a way that they didn't even know it could. That really was what got me going every single day. And I loved that. It was like an addiction. I loved seeing that and helping these women. And so I prayed, like, God, give me a clear and convincing sign when I should leave my job. Well, honey, I don't know what's more clear or convincing than, okay, you got laid off, you don't have a husband anymore, and you're a single mom and you have to make money. So here's your sign. And be well with yourself. So I said, okay, God, I see you. This isn't how I expected it to manifest, but that's cool. And I really wanted to be upset. I wanted to be upset that I got laid off and didn't have a plan, but nothing in me would allow me to be upset, because I think in my subconscious, I knew that this was what I had prayed for. And so now here I am trying to figure out what to do. And I thought to myself, you know what? I'm going to turn this into a business. And I don't know how, but I do believe that if God brings you to it, He is prepared to lead you through it. And so I just kept that with me, knowing that it's going to be all right. I only got $32 and I'm a single mother right now, but it's going to be okay. I have faith it's going to be okay. So there was a Whole Foods store that was opening in Detroit. And it was big news because it was the first time that a Whole Foods was in an urban area. And they were essentially eliminating a food desert in Detroit. And I thought to myself, you know, what if I could just get my products in Whole Foods? That would be great, right? Whole Foods is known for supporting local brands and bringing in smaller brands into their arsenal. And so I remember calling all around to all the area Whole Foods, trying to figure out who's in charge of this new Whole Foods that was opening. And after about 3 or 4 weeks of getting the runaround, meanwhile, I still only have my $32 in the bank. I am finding that I'm not getting an answer. So I finally get the right answer. Someone tells me who to talk to. So I call the guy and I say, hey, my name's Gwen. I have a company. It's called Naturalicious. We make time-saving hair care products for women. And I have a product line that's 3 products that does the work of 12 products. And he said, okay, come in. He gave me a day and a time, and I went to meet with him. So I go there. This man is 2 hours late, but something in me was like, don't leave, just wait. So he finally shows up and he's enormously apologetic. He's like, you know, I'm so sorry that I'm late. I didn't realize what time it was. I had a colleague come in from out of town and we were just at lunch. The time flew and I just didn't realize how much time had passed. I'm so sorry. Can we please start our meeting? So I said yes. So we start the meeting and I can tell that this guy is not understanding. He's a man with a bald head and he's just not getting why Black women are spending hours on their hair anyway. And I'm trying to tell him, like, it's 3 products. It delivers the results of 12 products in just 3 steps. It saves time. It saves money. You know, most of us are spending hours on our hair. I can get them from wash to done in, you know, less than an hour, most times less than half an hour. He's just like, I don't understand why you're spending more than half an hour on your hair anyway. He's just not getting it. And so I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm about to lose this man. So in walks, and this is why I say what's for you is for you when it's for you. Okay? What's for you is for you when it's for you. I was in this meeting. He was not feeling what I was talking about. In walks this woman. She's a Latina, huge head of curly hair. She says, "Can I join this meeting?" And he's got this look of relief on his face, like, "Yes, please, please join the meeting." So she comes in and I start my pitch over. I'm about 5 or 10 minutes into my pitch and she says, "Stop." I totally understand. You see all this hair I got? I got 2 daughters with the same hair. And my husband has a bald head. So he has a bald head and so he doesn't understand. But I have to get up at 4:30 in the morning every day just to get their hair done and mine so we can all get to work and school on time. And if this product does what you say it's going to do, and I can get up at a reasonable time, I will give you your first purchase order. And the thing was, she was the reason why he was late. It was her and some more of her colleagues coming in from Chicago. And by the way, she happened to be the decision maker anyway. So just think about how God has his hands in stuff, right? Had it just been him and I pitched him, he wasn't understanding what I was talking about. He didn't get it. And he would have had to go to her and he would have not been excited about it. He would have not understood. He may not have even pitched her because she was there from Chicago. What are you doing here on the day that I am pitching? Just serendipitous, right? She shows up, I pitch her, and she gets it, and we have our purchase order. So she comes and she tells me she's gonna call me in about a week. She called me in 3 days. She's like, "Gwen, I tried your system. I'm telling you, I'm sending you your purchase order right now. This has been such a game changer for me." And it meant so much to me that I was now able to have my products in Whole Foods. So that's really how I got started in retail. And since then, we've grown from that one Whole Foods store to now we're in several Whole Foods stores, but we're also in over 1,200 other stores, including Sally Beauty, Ulta, Whole Foods still. And it's just been a wild, amazing, crazy ride. And every single day, I still get to serve women, change their lives, and transform them for the better. We've been in business for a number of years now, and I have been so blessed, again, to become the first African-American woman to own a patent on a natural hair care product during that time. I've been able to, as a company, Naturalicious has been able to donate hundreds of thousands of dollars to battered women's shelters to assist women who are going through what I was going through. It's very important for me to give back. I think it's, as a company, once you grow and once you start to scale your company, it's so important to make sure that you're giving back and make sure that you are assisting those in your community who serve you. And so I'm very, very proud that Naturalicious has been a huge part of that. We also hire tons of people for our production line. They actually make all of our products and they're special needs. And so every time you get a product from Naturalicious, whether it's a step 1 Moroccan Rasoul clay treatment or a step 3 Divine Shine Moisture Lock and Frizz Fighter, that has been mixed, manufactured, and bottled by a special needs worker who more than likely would not have had a job otherwise. Most employers feel that they can't do the work, and so they don't hire them because they think that they'll be slow or they think that they won't do the work efficiently or correctly. And honestly, they're some of my most loyal, best employees, and I love them. They've been with me for, since maybe the second year I was in business. And I make sure that no matter how much we grow, that they always have a job at Naturalicious. And so we found ways to give back to the community. So proud of that. And I'm still able to change lives. So much so that to date, we've saved about 70,000 women more than 1.2 million minutes on wash day. And I'm so grateful and blessed, and it's a wild ride every day, and I'm just excited to be on this journey. And I want to thank you for allowing me to serve you as well. Thanks for listening to my story. And if you have any questions or just want even more details about it, feel free to shoot us an email over at concierge@naturalicious.net.